Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What is the fastest way you have seen someone ruin their life? The fire chief a few towns away, highly respected, grizzled veteran firefighter, offered to blow a 17-year-old high school student. The student reported him. Career over. Good for that kid for reporting it. I don't care what age you are, being offered unwanted sex is incredibly disturbing and can be super jarring in the moment when you wish it just didn't happen. Like when I was leaving the bank one day and the homeless guy right outside asked me if knew where to get a job, but not before he asked me if I was gay and wanted to get fucked skull. Friend of mine was in college full-time, no job, lived in his parents' rental property, had a paid-off car, full scholarship, had some discretionary funds for himself, wicked smart. Got addicted to oxys, back when you could find real oxys, not Fent. Drained his savings, got a Dewey, stopped going to class, kicked out of his house and lived on my couch for a while. This all happened in probably 6 months or maybe a year. Got money from donating plasma to spend on oxys, pawned anything valuable he had. One day he's seriously contemplating suicide, and we talk for basically the whole day. Convinced him to go to rehab, his parents agreed to pay for it. Went to rehab in Florida, stayed clean afterwards and changed universities to go out of state. Never seen him since, but still call and text occasionally. He just defended his thesis for his PhD in biochemistry, is a doctor now and happily married, as far as I know. You saved his life. I just hope you know that. You saved someone's life. Depending on what he does in his career, the ripple of lives saved. Man, I'm so glad to read that he had a good outcome. Everyone makes mistakes, but he made the change to save his life. With your help too. Had an affair with his cousin's wife. Had an affair with his cousin. Had a cousin with his affair. I knew a girl who had dormant schizophrenia and didn't realize it until she dropped acid and then just sort of never went back to normal. I always thought that was the sort of thing Dare made up, but apparently it can really happen when you already have a mental illness but it hasn't yet reached its onset. This happened to a friend I went to high school with, except one of our mutual friends dosed him with acid without his knowledge. My friend got lost in psychosis and never came back. He was a good kid, shit was sad. Everyone hated the guy who dosed him. Oh my god, that is terrible. I knew a guy that happened to, but they dosed him a whole vial. Poor dude was never right again. Exact same thing happened to an acquaintance of mine. Took shrooms in Southeast Asia, got full-blown psychosis and spent the following 5 years in a group home. I realized this could happen about 10 minutes after eating shrooms and slightly panicked. Turns out after several experiments, we found I'm immune to shrooms. I wanna contact UW and see if they're doing tests on people like me. This happened to my uncle. My dad and uncle were twins. Both joined the merchant navy together. Both took LSD during a trip to Asia and my uncle never snapped back out again. My grandma had schizophrenia, so the chances are he already had it or would have developed it, but after that LSD he never came back to norm. If he had that reaction to LSD, that functionally confirms .. it would have developed normally in time .. he had a latent case. Psychedelics can't cause schizophrenia, but they can accelerate its development. Edit, corrected my wording to be more accurate. A genetic predisposition does not guarantee symptoms will develop. Opiates, 100%. I've seen it happen to many friends and acquaintances, but one in particular stands out. Started eating perks, then oxys, graduated to snorting oxys, moved to snorting dope when oxys became too expensive, and finally was shooting dope, all within the space of about 9 months. Kid went from typical teenage stoner to pawning his grandma's jewelry in less than a year. One of my friends overdosed shooting up in a coffee shop bathroom. Another guy the first vaguely knew is in prison for life for murder after killing someone who touched his stash. Heroin, not even once. I figure if I make it to 80 heroin might be cool, but I got like 50 more years before that happens. A friend of mine played college football and broke his leg. They gave him pain meds for it and he never quit taking the pills, started buying them off the street, dropped out of college, lost about 120 pounds. Don't know where he is now. This is how a lot of kids get addicted to opioids. Thwarts injuries. And then the team doctor will prescribe powerful painkillers to these kids. Read Demon Copperhead. It's this story, not just kids. A high school classmate of mine blew out her knee in the aughts. They gave her OxyContin and she was off to the races. Her husband divorced her and she lost her kids. She got clean but died at 54 from GI issues. My daughter was a doctor and overdosed on opioids and died. She was 40. She got hooked after a surgery in her hip. Devastating to us. She was a surgeon. I'm sorry for your loss. I hope you are healing. Boban Yankovic, who got frustrated at a foul in a basketball game, slammed his head into the pole, broke his neck, never walked again. You can find the video online if you want to see, but that was really fast. Here is the link, https://u2.be/s4bxbbpftm?c=wxmgpfda2i6b2jwe. Crazy how he just drops. I feel like I've taken worse while playing sports and I'm just fine. He does that and it ruins his life. The body just swings to extremes, like people dying falling off a stool while others have fallen from a plane without a parachute and survived. I'm curious to see it, but man, I don't think I want to. My mom's boyfriend, after he attacked me because I refused to let him read my texts with my girlfriend after I was already living on my own and I was just coming to pick up some stuff I left behind. He ended up breaking my nose and arm and gave me a concussion. Now he's going to prison for 15 years. He even tried to tell the police when they arrested him that he was justified because he felt I disrespected him. What an asshole. Meth. Had a friend that was just a normal guy living a normal life and 3 stints in rehab later, 2 of which I paid for, and he's divorced, can't see his kids, lost his job and has done 2 bids in prison. Edit. A lot of people who either know someone or are in the middle of their own addiction. Reach out anytime. Supporting or going through it requires more support. My company's focuses on charity work a lot because we need reminders that we are all humans and that we all need each other with the world being so crazy. I made a memorial fund for my late mother. I found out after she passed that before she raised me she helped people kick the drug addiction, so it's near to my heart. Seriously, DM me anytime. You're a good lad to not give up on him early. I had a friend run a similar route. After his 3rd time getting clean at age 47, it has stuck. He just celebrated 5 years of sobriety. He has rebuilt his relationship with his children, has a steady, good-paying job and in his spare time found that he really enjoys exercise. Happy to hear this one. I truly believe that anyone can redeem themselves from anything. I have seen it myself. An ex-employee of mine that had a similar path with fentanyl over the last 3 years has completely rebuilt her life in the last year and has been reunited with her kids. In the throes of it I would have thought for sure she'd be dead by now. My buddy is fighting and he's been losing and I still hope for him. I'll never lose faith, but the arm's length I have to keep him, it keeps getting longer and longer. I never let him know that, I just tell him I believe in him. My late brother-in-law discovered opioids. It cost him his marriage, his house, and his life in about 2 years. Same thing happened to my cousin. Lost everything in a few short years. My nephew joined the Marines, went to Iraq, RR in Hawaii, motorcycle wreck, destroyed knee, shortened leg, refused amputation, painkillers, heroin, OD. She married a registered sex offender that was banned from seeing his own kids and eventually got hers taken by CPS. Good. I can't imagine the kind of love that would make you marry someone if you already know that about them. They always say, she was 17, baby, she lied about her age, I didn't know. Then you look it up and it was like the 10-year-old daughter of his previous girlfriend. My friend is a middle school teacher and this story, though it's from about 10 years ago now, still lives rent-free in my head. She had a 7th grader who would wet herself in class frequently. Obviously, this is not normal behavior, so the nurse tried talking to the girl to see if she had some kind of OT or other issue. Eventually, it came out that the mother's boyfriend was sexually abusing her and had been doing so for about 2 years. Of course, the people she told were mandated reporters and had to go to the police. The stepfather was arrested and the case went to trial. When they were in the courtroom, the mother said to her daughter, "You are just a temptress. You made him do those things to you. How dare you do this to me? You have destroyed my relationship with boyfriend. Destroyed it." Let's just say I hope there is a special place in hell for that woman. We all ask the same question. Have I got the tale for you? My dad and his siblings were close friends with another family of 5 boys. These 5 went into business together and made an absolute fortune. They had 8 kids who all were shipped off to residential school when they were less than 10. One Christmas break, 7 of the kids decided to surprise the parents by driving overnight through mountain passes while it was snowing heavily. They were in an SUV that skidded off the road and went down into a deep valley and all died. The surviving kid had a mental breakdown and is a shadow of his former self. Oh geez, that is horrible. I had to drive from Aspen to Denver during a snowstorm and accidentally found myself at the entrance of Independence Pass due to outdated GPS. It was closed, but I can only imagine the horror they felt. Just going down the mountain on a regular highway was terrifying. One of my cousins had a similar tale. 4 of his closest friends went on an impromptu fishing trip following high school graduation. He was supposed to go, but had a migraine and chose not to stay home. They lost control of their vehicle and all 4 died in the crash. He was never the same after that. Got into drugs, married a woman nearly 20 years older than himself. He ended up just giving up and stopped eating. Starved himself to death. We, meaning the rest of his family, didn't know he was that far down the spiral until his wife contacted us to let us know that he'd passed. He was living less than 10 minutes from me and I didn't even know it, because he had isolated himself so thoroughly from the family. I still feel guilty, even knowing that it wasn't my fault. I just wish that I could have been there for him. Pulling a knife on a cop wasn't a smart move. I knew a guy who got caught stealing beer and made this much worse by pulling out a knife. He was still arrested, but went to prison for a while and was now a felon. I remember a guy was caught after shoplifting a six-pack from Rite Aid, but on his way out he lifted his shirt, showing the butt of a gun in his pants. That turned it into armed robbery. My former mother-in-law had a warrant out for writing bad checks. Relatively minor shit. They came to get her and she ran, with her kids in the car, and led a police chase, and tried to run over the cops. She went from likely slap on the wrist to multiple felonies and years in prison.